Good evening, everyone. My name is Martin Marks. I'm a special assistant to the president and director of Jewish engagement, and I have the unenviable task of following Leo Tyrell and coming directly before Mark Levin, two fearless warriors who make my job fairly easy. It's been the greatest honor of a lifetime, and I'm going to keep this fairly brief because I believe this is my second time outside of DC since December. All I can tell you is that these issues that we are talking about, having been behind the scenes both on the campaign as the director of Jewish outreach and in my current capacity, these issues weren't things that people were working on January 20th or January 21st. The election was decided, I believe, around 2 o'clock in the morning on November 5th. And on November 6th at 9 o'clock in the morning, everyone was back at the office working on these issues. Tirelessly, day in, day out, there is a commitment to this set of policies, both foreign and domestic, to return us to a policy of peace through strength, not just in the Middle East, but throughout the world. It's one of the greatest honors to serve in President Trump's administration, he is one of the greatest friends of Israel that has been in the White House, and I would go so far as to say he has been, in terms of an administration, one of the greatest friends of the Jewish people since Darius the Great. There is a commitment, and part of what I'm talking about now is behind the scenes. This isn't something public. I very rarely publicly speak, and it's thanks to Alex and the JNS team that I'm even here this evening. I'm leaving in half an hour to go back to DC. As you can imagine, there's a ton of work there. It's the commitment of the people behind the scenes that you hear from Leo Tyrell, that you hear from A.G. Bondi, that you hear from Mark Levin, that you hear from these warriors, and I'm here to just tell you that this isn't a unique sentiment, that this is felt across the administration, that the commitment to combating anti-Semitism, to standing with Israel, and to standing with the Jewish people runs deep in the Trump administration. On the campaign trail, when I was meeting with students who had been affected by anti-Semitism, they realized that they were able to sue university administrations thanks to Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, but it was only thanks to President Trump's Executive Order 13899 combating anti-Semitism that codified that into law. And I'm just going to close, and I'm keeping this fairly brief because, again, you have far better speakers than I am, with the words of the executive order that he signed on January 29th, 2025, which is, "It shall be the policy of the United States to combat anti-Semitism vigorously, using all available and appropriate legal tools to prosecute, remove, or otherwise hold to account the perpetrators of unlawful anti-Semitic harassment and violence." And that is something that is done not just in terms of domestic policy, not just in terms of foreign policy, not just in terms of policy itself, but in terms of personnel, in terms of the warriors like Leo Tyrell, who are serving on the front lines of this battle every day. Gemar Chatima Tova, thank you so much for having me here.